Imagine, just for a second, taking a shot of hazelnut vodka.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. You're surrounded by students from, 100 different countries, sitting on the windowsill of a 16th century Renaissance townhouse.
That paints quite a picture.
It totally does. And there's this music from an underground cellar just pulsing through the cobblestones. You are right in the heart of this vibrant, chaotic, totally modern European youth capital.
Yeah, but there's a catch.
There is a massive catch, because now I need you to imagine that just a 15-minute bus ride from where you're sitting, fully visible from the edge of town, sits the preserved barbed wire, guard towers, and gas chambers of an untouched World War II concentration camp.
It's just staggering.
It really is. You're joining us for a deep dive today, and if you are insanely curious and you love uncovering places that just defy all expectations, we are exploring a city defined entirely by that extreme, almost unimaginable contrast.
It is a profound friction. I mean, most cities are either monuments to their past or playgrounds for their future, you know? So finding a place that actively, daily forces both of those realities to coexist in the exact same geographic space is incredibly rare.
And we have a fascinating stack of sources to pull from today to help us navigate this. We're looking at travel itineraries mapped out for 2025 and 2026, a really culturally focused Guardian article, some detailed historical analyses of World War II memorials, and local Polish festival guides.
A really diverse mix.
Super diverse. Our mission today is to pull all of this together to uncover the true identity of Lublin. It's Poland's 9th largest city, and we want to understand how it perfectly balances the electric energy of its youth with the sobering, profound weight of its history.
To really understand how that balance works, I think we first have to look at the physical canvas of the city itself. Because unlike Warsaw, which requires a completely different historical lens, Lublin actually offers an authentic, unvarnished window into the past.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the visual shock of Lublin is the very first thing our sources mention. Yeah. When people think of Poland post-World War II, they usually picture reconstruction.
Right, because Warsaw was systematically leveled by the Nazis after the 1944 uprising, literally block by block.
By block. But Lublin's old town survived.
Yeah, and the survival of Lublin's architecture wasn't some strategic decision by the occupying forces to spare the city. It was actually just a byproduct of the speed of the war's end in that specific region.
Just a matter of timing.
Exactly. The Soviet Red Army advanced so rapidly through eastern Poland that the retreating German forces simply didn't have the time or the resources to enact the kind of scorched earth destruction they visited upon Warsaw.
Wow.
So as a result, the winding cobbled streets and those pastel-colored tenement houses around the Old Town Market Square, they remain historically authentic.
Which is wild. You walk through and see these ornate white moldings and Renaissance proportions. I mean, it feels much more like an ancient Italian piazza than what someone might stereotypically expect from an Eastern European industrial hub.
It's a total visual mismatch.
It really is.
Yeah.
And then there's the Lublin Castle, which is an architectural puzzle all on its own. You have a neo-Gothic exterior, a 14th century round tower, and inside, a chapel covered entirely in Byzantine frescoes.
And those frescoes are a perfect example of why Lublin's geography actually matters. Byzantine art is deeply rooted in Eastern Orthodox Christianity, right?
Okay.
So finding a chapel covered in it inside a Catholic Polish castle is a total anomaly. It was commissioned in the early 1400s by King Władysław II Jagiellon.
Say that 5 times fast.
I know, right? But he was originally a Lithuanian pagan who converted to Catholicism to become the Polish king.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but he retained a deep love for Eastern Orthodox aesthetics. So even centuries ago, Lublin was already functioning as this cultural bridge between the East and the West.
But into this ancient preserved environment, we have to inject a massive demographic twist.
The youth.
The youth. Out of roughly 350,000 residents in Lublin today, about 60,000 of them are university students.
That's huge.
It's massive. There are 9 universities packed into this city, drawing youth from nearly 110 different countries.
So nearly 1 in 5 people walking those medieval streets is a student. What's fascinating here is how that specific demographic prevents the city from fossilizing.
What do you mean by fossilizing?
Well, If you take a beautifully preserved medieval town and populate it mostly with, say, an aging demographic or just transient tourists, it becomes a museum. It gets roped off.
Like it becomes status.
Exactly. But Lublin functions more like open source software. The ancient infrastructure, like the monasteries, the medieval gates, the royal courts, that's the legacy code.
I love that analogy.
Right. And the massive student population is the community constantly rewriting, modifying, and updating that code for modern use. They don't just observe the history, they actually occupy it.
That brings up a very practical question, though. How does a population of 60,000 university students actually afford to socialize and eat and drink in a pristine, historic city center? Because usually those areas are completely priced out. They're reserved for luxury tourism.
They adapt the spaces. The nightlife and culinary scenes there, they thrive on this really resourceful fusion of high heritage and low budget.
The sources highlight a place called the Poland26Piwa, which I think illustrates this perfectly. It is a brewery located underground, inside a former 17th century monastery.
Talk about adaptive reuse.
Right. The students are walking into this cavernous, vaulted basement that was designed for silent monastic reflection. And they're gathering around a 30-meter-long mirrored bar to buy liters of regional beer for about $2.50.
By repurposing that religious historical architecture for communal, youthful celebration, they kind of strip away the intimidation factor of the history.
And the most famous example of stripping away that intimidation factor is what the travel guides call the Lublin way of drinking.
Oh, the convenience stores.
Yes. You don't necessarily queue up for an exclusive nightclub. You go to a Łapka, which is just a ubiquitous, everyday Polish convenience store.
Yeah.
You buy small, cheap bottles of vodka that come in flavors like hazelnut or cherry or mango.
Sounds dangerous.
Very. And then you simply take your bottles outside and mix them together on a random 16th century windowsill in the old town.
It democratizes the city. I mean, the architecture literally becomes the furniture for the youth culture.
And the food scene takes that exact same philosophy of mixing the old and the new, but kind of elevates it. You have Mandragora, right on the main square.
The Jewish restaurant, right.
Yeah. Before the war, Lublin was known as the Jewish Oxford because of its prominent Talmudic schools and deep Jewish heritage. So Mandragora serves old, pre-war Jewish recipes. The travel itineraries rave about their garlic dumplings stuffed with cheese and potato, and this schnitzel that is described as gargantuan.
Gargantuan.
That swallows the entire plate. It literally forces you to find room for the boiled potatoes on the side.
That abundance is a hallmark of traditional regional hospitality. You see it as well with the local street food, too. Like the cebulars.
The flatbread.
Yeah, it's a Jewish flatbread topped with diced onion and poppy seeds that dates back to the 19th century.
But directly contrasting that deep tradition, you have restaurants actively deconstructing the dining experience. There's a place called From the Kitchen. They seat you at tables with pristine white tablecloths, but they mount TV screens all over the walls, broadcasting a live feed of the kitchen.
That's so intense.
Right. You watch your own meal being constructed step by step, and then they serve you something highly conceptual, like cold tomato soup. Or you can wander down a side street past the Old Town's Fish Gate and find Manzi Suwami, which is a hidden bookstore cafe with a literal swing hanging from the ceiling right in the middle of the bookshelves.
And this functional reuse of space, it doesn't stop at the restaurant doors. It scales up to encompass the entire urban landscape. Because Lublin is designated as a European youth capital, the city government and local organizations, they treat the streets, the airspace, and the historical monuments as a canvas.
They host 73 major cultural events a year.
That's a staggering logistical undertaking.